So, I think we all have some childhood memories that really stick with us. And I know that I have many, but there's one in particular that I was recently thinking about this morning. And it was when I was in 3rd grade, I had this teacher, and I'm not going to go into any details about what who this teacher was or what she was like because that's not point of why I'm bringing this up. But one day during class, she was teaching us about the story of the ant in the grasshopper. And she went on to tell us the story, and I think it was the version with the happy ending where the ant let the grasshopper in and shared the food that was stored with the grasshopper, but there are endings where the ant or the ants don't let the grasshopper in. It's like, what? You haven't been working hard all summer and saving up? And so there's two versions of the story. There's the version where the grasshopper isn't let in, isn't given any help, and has to face the consequences of playing around all summer and not having the food or resources that he needs during the winter when things are harsh and cold and there's no food in sight and it's barren. Um the other version of the story is where the ant or the ants, depending on if it's one ant or a group of them in the story, do let in the grasshopper and helps the grasshopper because the grasshopper is hungry and cold and needs food. And I think the story that we were told was the latter. But the former is meant to teach about hard work and how a lack of it can lead to hardship. And then the latter is meant to teach about compassion and empathy and whatnot. But they're in 3rd grade during that lesson, after the lesson, our teacher had us stand up and she picked two corners of the room. And she told us, if you would have let the grasshopper in, go to corner A. And if you wouldn't have let the grasshopper in, go to corner B. And I think it was about 50-50, maybe 40-60. The class, we just divided up into two corners. And after we did, she turned to corner A, which would have been the corner that we would have gone to if we would have helped the grasshopper. And she asked us why. Now, to be fair, this was 3rd grade. I'm in my 20s now. This was a long time ago, so it's possible that she may have also asked corner B the same question. I don't recall it, but it could have happened initially. Um, when she asked us, we explained because he's hungry. He's hungry, so we're going to feed him because we have it. And she goes on to respond. She retorts with, yeah, but he didn't work hard, so he brought this upon himself. And then after her response, she had us revote, and she offered for anybody that wanted to move. And all but one person moved from corner A to corner B. And I was that person. And she, again, turned to me and asked me, why? And I explained, he's hungry. And that was honestly, that was the only response I could give. Because again, I'm a third grader. I don't have the words to articulate and explain to this woman why I feel like that having food is a basic human necessity and right. And I don't think I said much else other than that. I think that was essentially my response. Was, but he's hungry. And her response was, he didn't work hard. He brought this upon himself. And I just kept saying, but he's hungry. And so that stuck with me. I do think two things can be true at once. I do think that, yes, the grasshopper played all summer, but I also think that when we are compassionate and we feed someone because they deserve to eat, they can be grateful and we can teach them to do better. And I feel like that's important. And I feel like it's important to state that children aren't born with apathy. Because if they were, no one would have gone to